This is page 71 of your math journal. We're going to call this percent increase and decrease. Alright, we've been talking about the percent equation. Whole times part, or times percent, equals part. There are some other ways you can also think of it. Another way we've talked about already is original times percent equals new. Once again, this is still the same thing. It's what you start with times the percent gives you the new item. Another way to think of it would be total times percent equals part. Okay, so with this, we're just going to look at a couple of things that are a little bit different than what we've already talked about. Okay, I'd like you to write down this story problem. A sports car's value increased by 28%. It is now worth $64,000. What was its value before? Okay, this is where you need to think about this. So we have whole times percent equals part. So looking at this, if it is now worth $64,000, this is the new value of it. So I'm going to put $64,000 here as the part. It is worth this much. But before you jump into things, is this 28% of the whole? No, this is more than that. So this is where you need to think. What happened here because it increased by 28%? In other words, 100% is what the car was to begin with. But it increased by 28%. So now this is actually 100 plus 28%. So it's actually 128% of the original. And that's because of this increase right here. So this one needs to be 1.28 because that would be your 128%. We're still looking for the original price, but this times 128% now gives us that new value. So we're going to take and divide by 1.28. Cancels that out. We're going to divide by 1.28 here as well. Okay, and for saving time, 64,000 divided by 1.28 equals 50,000. So the original price was $50,000. But this is the part I wanted you to focus on today, is the fact that because it increased in value, we took 100, had to add the 28% to it to get 128%. Okay, skip a line and we're going to write another problem. A bench is on sale for $425. this is 15% off the original price. Sorry, that shouldn't be a question mark. How much was the bench originally? Alright, so let's fill in what we know. If the bench is on sale for $425, that means if we have our whole times percent equals part, this is the part because this is the new price of the bench. It's actually part of the original price. Now here is 425%, 15% of the price? No, 15% was taken off. So once again, the original price of the bench was 100% of the price. But they've taken off 15%, so I'm going to subtract 15%. That's going to leave us with 85%. So that means what's remaining is 85%. So this needs to be 0.85. Because the remaining portion of the bench is 85% of what's left. Now we're still looking for the original price. So I'm going to undo this by dividing by 0.85. And that cancels that out. I have to divide this side by 0.85. And for saving of a little bit of time, 425 divided by 0.85 equals 500. So the original price of the bench was $500. Okay, but what I wanted you to really focus on in this lesson was because the percent was increased up here, we had to add 100% plus what was increased. Here, the price was decreased, so we took 100% minus the percentage that was taken off. Pay attention carefully for that kind of wording in any problem you might come across.